Hello, friends. I'm so glad you could be here with me as we dive into the world of color grading in Davinci Resolve. Today, we're going to be adding a little touch of magic to our scene as we work on this image from, it was a commercial, but let's imagine this dashing hero as a spy, sipping a martini in a nice little discreet bar. So the first thing we're going to do is dive right in with looking at our node tree, kind of setting it up. We have it as a log image, but we're going to select a DRT, our display transform. The one that I've been using recently is JP2499. It's available on GitHub. There's a link, but this is with it on, this is with it off. This, as it is just to set that initial look that we're going to be able to see on our display. So we're grading on a display that is set up for Rec 709, Gamma 2.4, and choosing the right display transform is how we take it from its log, its linear state, the state in which we're grading it, and taking it around to where we're going to finish it. But it establishes choosing the right DRT is going to really set the mood for our scene. It's going to establish for us to make sure that our colors are right as we begin to dive in to understand how do we really convey that this is a spy. So we're just going to start with, we turned on JP249. We can trial if we wanted some of the other ones from your color space transform. We just go with very basic, pop that out. And we're using Davinci Wide Gamut. Davinci Intermediate is where we're getting to. And we're going to take it out to the monitor grade, which is Rec 709, Gamma 2.4. I'm just going to turn on luminance mapping. Just kind of do some of these settings here. You can kind of see this is where we're at if we were just to do the stock CRT, CST in Resolve. But how does it look if we swap in just a little bit darker? There's a little bit different tone to skin. It just has a little bit of a nicer feel. The other one we could try out is we could just add in another serial node up in here, add a node. Try. Let's see. Let's add a DCTL. Let's try OpenDRT. Let's set up settings for that. So it's coming in from Davinci Wide Intermediate. It's going out to Rec 709 2.4. Just connect that up. See which one we like. Yeah, you can see there's just some differences. So if we're looking at the settings, and you can tweak any of these and move them around and kind of do what you want. But I think, honestly, for this, let's go. That's JP. This is the stock CST. And here is OpenDRT. Honestly, out of all of them, my personal preference would be OpenDRT. Just as I think about this, I kind of think of it a little bit neo-noir kind of feel, where things are a little bit less, kind of pushed, kind of desaturated when it comes to how the skin tones work. I'm a big fan. I don't like overly saturated skin tones. That's my personal preference, and that does steer when I see it, and I see that super orange, burnt toast, I think is the term, taste. So out of the three right now, I'm kind of liking where we're at with the OpenDRT. So yeah, let's just start there, and we'll see where we end up, right? So the next thing we're going to look at is we're looking at the way in which I kind of work through my grades are we start at, let's get it to the display, the way in which I'm going to look at it, and everything else we're going to kind of work underneath that, adjusting the exposure, changing the color balance, just making that image really shine. Doing any of the power windows. We can see he's drinking a martini here. There's a lot of things we can think about. But the first thing we kind of want to do is set as we get to the end of our node tree, what is that overall contrast going to look like? So if we enable this contrast curve, apologies, I had that turned on before we looked at our different DRTs. So I just turned it off and we're looking back. I could see myself going with JP249, but I still like that open DRT. So we're just going to clean that up for now. We made that choice. It's okay. You can make mistakes. It's all about making choices, though. We're going to stick with this for now. We're going to go back here, and we're going to just tell it, reset that contrast curve. Don't know why it's all jank was on, turned off. Let's just see. Let's enable that curve. So this is what we're looking at right now. You can see that. Yeah. So we have that nice curve going. It's straight. There's nothing to it. Let's just tweak a couple things here, because adjusting the contrast curve is like revealing layers in this world. A little tweak here, a gentle touch there, and suddenly that scene is going to be full of depth and intrigue. Yeah, let's just tweak a couple things there. So right now we're just kind of pushing that up. Little tweak here. Just want to add a little highlight, a little mystery. Let's maybe raise up our black point a little bit. You know, we don't want to be too aggressive and too strange. Let's see here. I'm a little far away. Not sure I like that. So we're going to bring up a black point. We're going to maybe play with our toe length. Yeah, you should be able to see that right now. Making sure you can see. It's not so bright. We can kind of bring down that white point if we want it. I'm going to just change how that shoulder rolls off into the highlights. He's got a little glow on the side of his head. Kind of just tweak a couple things. There. We turn it on. Turn it off. Oops, let's take that off. Just go enable curve. Disable curve. Yeah, a little bit more sharpness. Kind of just closes things in, draws us in, makes it a little bit more mysterious. So now that we got our contrast kind of set, let's take a look at our density. I like to use this guy right here for just tweaking density. You know, maybe we can go down to the global, kind of just a small adjustment. Maybe roll it off a little. Roll it off in the highlights. This is a plugin from. We got that blue in the background, and we're gonna get there when we pop up the exposure a little bit. But let's maybe just tweak that a little bit. See how that's working. It's nice. It's dark. I don't think we need to do too much. I don't think we need to be too aggressive. But when we think about density, it's like wrapping our spy in that aura of mystery, kind of bringing all the colors kind of together, and just trying to make it a little bit more deep, a little bit more suspenseful. But after density, after we get our colors kind of where we're at, we can think about the range of them. We could kind of play with our saturation levels a little bit. So let's just go and tweak a couple of that. Let's go. How are we looking? Kind of want to watch. Don't want them to be overly red. We want those blues to pop. And go back. Kind of just making tweaks on the fly. Kind of just playing it by ear. So we did pop a little bit of the global saturation. And we just kind of rolled it off. So if we were doing this for, just adding that little bit of excitement, kind of just making little tweaks here. It's kind of making those colors come off. The thing about the martini is we got those greens and yellows. Kind of see how that's tweaking up on the little dish there, that green olive. Yeah. Just kind of make it happy. Okay. The thing with when we touch saturation, we also want to be mindful of our skin. So you can kind of see here the right side of his face, the left side, I mean, has got that a little bit more of a magenta lean to it, whereas the proper skin tone is kind of his hand as well as the right side of his face. You can just see it's deeper, it's in the shadows. There's a little bit of mystery to it. It's nice. The question is, do we want to roll any of our hues around? So you can see how some of these sliders work. Just kind of play around. This would be normally if you were making a transition. Like, I don't want that wall to be as blue. Maybe it's a magenta wall. Maybe it's a more cyanic blue, kind of an ocean blue. Like if we roll it from magenta back around, kind of just add a little bit more color separation. You can see we're just string in and out. Now we can go back to cyan, kind of tweak it around. You know, we're in the shadows. We're a little desaturated, but it's all right. Yeah. See in a second what that does. But one of the things I've used mono's split in the past. Mono knows the split curve, and I like it. But I also like the split curve in here because it's really nice. If we're talking about split tone, we're just gonna whisper into the highlights. We're gonna put a little secrets into the shadows. So you can see if we turn that on, what we're really doing, it actually shows us what's going on. So we can go over here. We can kind of add in that split so those highlights a little bit more rust. Our shadows. Let's pick a hue. I want to kind of make the shadows, you know, blue. Nice. And so here we get to just kind of choose how our shadows look. And the highlights coming off the side. Let's make it like a little tungsten-y, maybe. I don't know. What do you think about that? Does that make you feel good inside? We can trial it off. Let's just turn that off. Little effects, little tweaks, little changes, little things there. So let's just use maybe some stock halation. Ooh, it gives us a little glow, a little more pop. Look at that pop on the side of his face. Let's just view those isolated regions. That's what we're working with here. Ooh, he's got that nice little shine. You can kind of just turn that up a little bit. There's the strength. You can see. See when we look at it. Let's change that setting to it's in this setting. I always forget where that setting is. Viewer output, gang viewer zoom. Yeah, let's just look at how that's looking. Let's see. You know, we're going to turn that halation on and off. Just that effect that we're getting. It's just giving, you know, a little pop to those highlights. Draws the eye to that martini glass. Is that inhalation? It's like giving our scene a little soft hug of color. We didn't know it was there. We didn't know how it was going to affect it. But it's there. And it makes us feel good inside. So yeah. See where we're at. I think we're doing pretty good. It's looking pretty good. Let's just check our skin. We haven't messed anything up. We're going to kind of come back now to the bottom of our tree. We haven't really touched anything. So this is, we had just done the overall look of multiple shots in this bar. It's dark, it's seedy, it's a little intriguing. And now we'd be coming back. That'd be kind of that overall contrast that everything would have. And every shot would have that same level of halation And now we're just coming back, and we're gonna kind of, let's troll around on the balls a little bit. Kind of tweak up and see. We're just gonna play with our exposure. We're gonna just start with offset. We're a little low. We can kind of come up a little bit. How shadowy is he? Was he that dark? I mean, you can see we're just coming up with the offset just a little bit. And we're just going to play with that gain. Bring those shadows in. Brought the offset up. And kind of bring this a little. Maybe bring up those highlights. And you can kind of see, you can really see now that effect that we had on the hue shift that we did, where we changed the color of the walls. So we go back here, and we just turn that off. You can see it's a darker blue, but now it's a brighter blue. Darker blue. That cyan is just a little bit more energetic. But we're just working the exposure. We're finding that perfect amount. We want this to be kind of that, discreet rendezvous spot. Or do we want to bring it up a notch? Do we want to make those highlights a little bit warmer? That's what we're going to do when we jump over the color balance. Like, this is how the scene was lit. How are we affecting things? But right now, since we are zoomed in on the talent's face, and out of all the colors I'm concerned about how he looks. When I look at him, am I concerned about his skin? And so I'm just going to pop up our skin tone checker here. If you don't have this utility, there's ways to get around and check skin tone and really be able to visualize it. I know some scopes have it built in, but oops, that's not what I wanted to do at all. But we really want to make sure our skin tones are exactly where they need to be. And just small tweaks, small little adjustments. We're just playing around with, the shadows on his face, making sure that the shadow color, we're just kind of pulling back around. You can see how it's looking on our skin tone. And then the highlights, kind of push, kind of bring a little bit more warm light into the scene. You can see how it's kind of going to push a bit more yellow. The majority of his face now is yellow, but our checker kind of changes how things work. Excuse me, I've sneezed here. We can see that when we go back to that. So this would be on point skin tone. I would say it's pretty good. It's a little too cool. Now it's like a little warm. It's kind of cozier. The shadows are a little cozier. Everything's a little cozier. It's like the lights. So the question is, do we like it like this? Or do we like it like this? The blue is a little bit obtrusive. It's kind of drawing my eye away. I kind of like it like that. And so then we can just play around with the localize. So this is where we're at in the clip level. We kind of did an overall look, and now we're just like kind of balance out some of the other things. So that was a little tweak to how the glow and the light hit. You can play with how saturated he is. I was going for the more desaturated look. I can pull a little bit of that light out, I think. And kind of keep those blues a little rich. And keep that saturation. Yeah. Just keeping it simple. Don't want to be too aggressive. Yeah. Let's see how that desaturation brought in a little bit of the shadow. I think. Before, after, before, after, after. It's feeling good. What do you guys think about it? Do you like this image? Do you like where we're at? Do you like where we're going? We can do some trims if we want. Kind of bring in some things. Are we too black? Are we too down in the nuts? We don't have a true black. That's okay. You gotta see that on the scopes. Now things are looking. Right? You can see that, right? I think so. Where are we gonna go from here? Maybe we want to just bring in the shadows a little bit more. Let's just go look at the power windows. Just window. Just kind of make that tall. See where we're working on. There. Kind of just bring this over here. Just make it a little rounded. Crack the softness. Crank the size. Just kind of bring it over. And then, very simply, just bring down that side. Yeah. Just a touch. We just crank down. Just took the color, took that extra light that was hitting, that seems to be hitting that wall, brought it down, and we could just focus now on our subject. Just got a nice look at that glow in his eyes with sparkle. Do we have some halation going on here? Oh yeah, look at that. That is really nice. I like that. You like that? Look at that eye. And see if we were going to turn on the halation on and off, what that does. So on its own, that's a little glint in his eye. But by just having a little bit of halation, bam, it's a little bit bigger glint. I like it. I like where it's going. I like how it's feeling. I know this took a little while. We've been here for about 15 minutes or so. But, I mean, we kind of just went over. You can kind of see we kind of set up a couple things and did an overall look. I mean, this is kind of what, you know, if we were to look at the other scenes in this bar, we could just, you know, copy paste this grade over. Apply grade. We got some of these other scenes where he's walking through with the dish. And we'd be down here. We can turn these off because this is our shot level adjustments. But yeah, he's bringing the martini to the mat. How do we like that? Does that feel good? What would we do? Yeah, there's a lot going on in that shot. Focused on that martini. Is that martini poisoned? Ooh, that adds to the story. Just a little bit. Would have been nice if this was a movie. And that's one of the things I can see here. Where if we were to do this in the shot by shot level, I'd probably be coming back in here and turning on that color balance and to bring in that warmth. Be something we do similar. So, and then the exposure. Exposure's similar. It's nice. Brings it up just a notch. I might dial it back a notch if I was to do that, but yeah. It's a nice little cut pop. It's a little too blue because that's our scene. It was a little warm. Which, if we're made it too blue here at the clip level, if we overall we're like, oh man, that's the cool thing. We can always turn off the color balance, kind of take a snapshot and see where are we affecting that? Where do we cause that warmth to evaporate from? Can we bring it back in at the top of the tree? Because, you know, like how would we do that? How would we think about that? Probably make the set, the red sets a little bit kind of pop. Yeah. Are we going to be, the question would be, are we going to be affecting that? We could turn off this Paul window. We can get him back in. He was a little shadowy. We kind of just left that there from the other shot. Forgot about that. Yeah. Just coming in. Server brings the drink. Yeah, there's some things we do to that shot, but overall, kind of liking how we took this. Maybe you see me address this shot again in the future in another video. Maybe I'll link it there. But I hope you enjoyed this, because it was quite fun for me. Till next time, enjoy.